Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding for Senior Report is provided in part by a grant from Andrew Goodell, Assemblyman for the 150th District of the New York State Assembly. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. Senior Report with Reed Powers thanks Westfield's Schultz Chevy for a generous grant to inform seniors of important news. Over 50 years of service to Westfield by Chevrolet, Schultz Chevy across from the school. The physicians of Jamestown Primary Care are happy to sponsor the Senior Report. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. What a beautiful day we have here in Chautauqua County. The sun is beaming down, the birds are chirping, and the tulips are now showing up. All the daffodils, those pretty little pieces of sunshine on everybody's front yard, they're all over the place. And I'll tell you something, it's just incredible, the profusion of flowers we have up here in Chautauqua County. And of course the leeks are ready to eat. They're big now, and we'll be checking those leeks out shortly. I'd had them today, but Marianne Spanos says they make her ill. They are pretty strong, I must admit. They're wild garlic, but they're not really that strong, especially if you eat one. I mean, that it's like garlic itself. If you don't like the flavor of garlic, just eat one, and then you won't smell it anymore. It won't be around you. All right, guys, we have a lot of things to talk about today. We've got Marianne Spanos coming on, and Marianne will be talking about the events over at the Office for the Aging for the crowd here in Chautauqua County. She does a bang-up job. We'll also be talking about other things. We'll have John on, the guy who's going to talk all about he talks a lot about the Rotary. He's quite involved in that, and they have a big deal coming up. We'll talk about that more, and I'm going to give away something, and John will tell you about it for the first caller who calls in. Okay, now we have lots of local news on TV. Of course, you see the the Fed news. Alabama has now decided that they had to cut back the FAA a little bit. So the whole amount of money that they're supposed to cut, they wanted to cut back, they took it out of the control towers, which completely fouled up the whole country in terms of planes. Everybody was late, cancellations all over the place, people sitting on the runway for hours and hours. Well, of course, that's a political thing. We pointed out, well, you're going to make me cut back? I'll cut back right here where it hurts the worst. Congress just passed a law changing that. You can't take it all out of the controllers. They've got to have controllers because of the danger, for one thing, of not having enough people to control, but the fact that slowing down everything, travel all over the country, and just making people irate and crazy. And of course, the pilot will come on regularly and say, well, call your congressman if you don't like it. Political stuff going on. And, of course, on the state level, the new gun law is just infuriating everybody. It's just madness. I mean, all the people who hunt and fish, and up here in Chautauqua County, that's everybody. I don't think there's a household up here that doesn't have at least one gun in it, because now they've set up all these new rules, and you can't even buy a box of 22s without paying $15 and going through the big deal, the background check. To buy a box of 22, you got to be kidding, for God's sake. This is craziness. And I don't know. Mental health is the issue. You get people who are crazy, they start killing people. They use bombs like they did in Boston, or they use giant bombs like they did in Oklahoma, or they take a knife and start slashing like happened in a school recently. I'm telling you, this is madness. You gotta cut back on mental health. People with mental health need mental health services. And of course, one of the biggest cuts in the state government was mental health this year in the budget. Thank you, Cuomo. After passing a crazy gun law, it doesn't affect anybody, their ownership of the Second Amendment. Like hell it doesn't. It cuts back sharply on the Second Amendment. And you got to stop this nonsense. It's not the gun owners and the hunters and the target shooters or whatever that are murdering people. It's the crazy people that are doing it. All right, now, locally in Chautauqua County, we had last week Fred Croscott, who pointed out that either there's going to be a sales tax increase, which the Assembly and the Senate are both opposed to, so that ain't going to happen, or we're going to have a huge increase in our local taxes, which could be up to 20%. Oh, help us, Lord, help us. We're already the highest tax county in the United States, not in New York State, in the entire country. And now they're going to raise them another 20%. You got to be mad. I think I hear Marianne Spanos chirping away in the background. Let's hope so. Okay, guys, we have a lot of other things happening. I've got time for that. I got a lot of nice stuff here. We got some good news. Let me put on the cheaters here for this. Mayville, where we are right now, and which has been gracing us for years with a grant and taking care of the Access Television. We're the only live Access Television program going on now in the county, they tell me. So we're doing pretty well here in Mayville Access. Thank you, Chuck Kelsey and all those wonderful people, Randy Bird and Chris Bird and Devin Taylor and Chris Ramaker and Jeff Zook, who's running the show right now. Don Zen's helping out. John Hamels does the talking. Hey, we're in business. Mayville Senior Citizens Club has quite a following. It's beautiful. Joyce Ayers is currently the person in charge over there, opens the door, and they have done much research on the gun law, and Charles Holder is going to come over and talk about it, pros and cons. There are no pros, my friends. Even the vice president admitted this won't change anything. There are new gun laws that they've tried to pass on the federal level, which people laughed out of town. He's an undersheriff, Charles Holder. He's going to talk about it. After the flag salute, they told you they've got some great stuff here. Wanda Gustafson, they have a safe driving course. Now that drops your insurance by 10%, and if you have some points, removes them, erases them. They're going to have a safe driving course May 7th and 8th, but you do have to register. Make sure you check in on that one. They're also going on a trip to the Patsy Cline show in May. Oh, wow. There's a few seats left. And they're going to Mackinac Island also. If you're interested in any of these trips, 753-7814. 753-7814. Hi, Pat Judge, a new member over there. And May 2nd is the next meeting. Drop around. They meet at the VFW at the foot of the hill in Mayville, over toward Webb's. And they have a wonderful place there. Usually you bring a dish to pass and your own silverware, and everybody has lunch at 12. Great Bell Seniors, very active trips. 25th of June, May 21st, casino trips. Of course, everybody goes to casinos. They give you $25. You pay $25 for the trip. You get $20 worth of chips usually and $5 toward your lunch. You can't beat it. It's free, really. Just don't gamble, whatever you do. Spend your chips and run. If you're interested in any of these, They have a 4-day Pennsylvania Rail Adventure Tour, May 13th, and there's still a few openings. If you're interested, call Mary Ann Serio over at the Great Bell Seniors at 672-5274. 672-5274. The trips the seniors offer are fantastic, is all I can say. All right, many other things going on here. Lakeshore Seniors, I want to mention them. They meet at the Senior Center in Dunkirk, which is incredible. If you want to get over there and get involved, drop around. May 1st will be the next meeting. Genevieve and Ronnie Ginley will be doing the coffee and the wonderful other things. All right. If you want to go to the safe driving course over in Mayville, make sure you make a reservation. Dunkirk Seniors have a casino trip coming up to Presque Island in Erie, PA on Thursday, May 23rd. $25. Not bad. Again, it's always $25. You get $20 usually in chips. You want to make a reservation, though, for that. Make sure you drop around to the Dunkirk Senior Citizens or call anybody over there. If you're, you can always call somebody. Everybody knows somebody. And the reservations can be made at the Dunkirk Senior Center Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon. So there's your opportunity. Open door. Gala Sunday will be held Sunday, April 14th, which is long, long gone. Great Bell Seniors, what a bunch over there, too. All right, guys, they tell me I've already run through an awful lot of time here. And we've got John coming on, and he's going to talk about all kinds of wonderful things. John Hamels. And I have a public service announcement for you first, and then we'll hear from John. This is for you, public service.
Hi.
She's here?
It's fine. Just got here. They seem nice. It's pretty good. Yeah. I'm excited. Miss you too, Mom.
Okay, there we go. Marianne Spanos is waiting, but we're going to hear a word or two here from John Hamels, who's going to give you something really great. John, you're on.
Good morning, Reed. Good morning, everybody. What a great day out there, huh?
You bet.
All right. Well, I want to just kind of come back on a couple things here that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. Today and tomorrow throughout the county, and actually throughout all of New York State, as far as I know, is an opportunity for folks to go down and visit their local fire departments. There is something called the statewide open house, Recruit New York, and I'll even hold up my little poster. I know Randy will get a good shot of that. But basically what it is that you can go in there, talk with the firemen, and thank you. What a great, look at that, like I perfectly balanced there, right there. And yeah, anyways, we are looking desperately throughout all of our fire departments to get people to come in and help out with the fire department. You get the training and so forth. And as we talked about, there's a job for everybody. There's auxiliaries that support the fire department. If you're not interested in firefighting, you can help in many other ways. So today and tomorrow, check out your local fire department, and maybe you want to become a fireman. Okay, Reed, coming up also on May 11th, put that little card there, is the annual Westfield Mayville Rotary Auction. And we're going to take a shot of that poster right now. And ready, go. All right. What it is, guys, is for $10, listen to this, for $10 you get your ticket, you get a Chevetta's barbecue chicken, full meal, all the beer and soda you can drink, a chance to win $500. That's for $10, and your ticket actually is your bidding card. And what we're going to give folks today, is going to be at Easton Hall, May 11th from 5 to 7. It's a new location because the Westfield exempt Fireman's Hall was sold, so we had to move things. And Dave Brown is going to be our auctioneer. If you know Dave, he's a great entertainer when it comes to auctions, and he's just a lot of fun. So that's coming up May 11th. And if people are interested, when I get off this section of the show, give me a couple minutes, but I man the phones here, and the first caller that calls in, I'm going to give you 2 tickets free as our guests from the show here to go to the auction. And let me turn right around here. Everything's backwards, when you're on TV.
Just try to comb your hair.
You call me and say, I'd like those Rotary auction tickets, and I will mail them to you personally. I'll get your address, and we'll pop those in the mail for you. So that's for May 11th. Okay, what else are we going to talk about today? Real quick, Reed. I was talking about scams when Jim Subject was here not too long ago, and I was going to share with you another kind of a concern that I have for senior citizens these days. And now I want to be very clear, I'm not pointing any fingers at any particular company, but the other day, my dad answers the door up in Buffalo, and a young man's there with a badge. And he says something to my dad that's confusing, and my dad thinks he's the representative from the gas company, like National Fuel. Well, the next thing you know, my dad's sitting down talking to this guy, and he's explaining to my dad if he fills out these forms, bad idea, Dad. And then he will save money on his electric bill as well. And it's not the company that a lot of people are talking about here in Chautauqua County. It's a different company. Long story short, this guy then calls his manager, who has a very strong foreign accent. Another thing to be concerned about, not that I have against foreigners, but I suspect this person wasn't even in the United States. And what they're trying to do is recruit senior citizens to sign up for these various programs to save on their bills, their utility bills. Well, my dad got this inkling that something wasn't right. He says, give me all those papers. If you want to contact me again, you call me when my son's here, being me. Well, we got on the internet and we did the usual reviews, critiques, and so forth. Well, this company has been known for stealing senior citizens' IDs, and it's not what it appears to be. So be very, very careful that you know who you're talking to. There's companies out there that will try to save you money, and they're probably very legit, but check them out. Don't necessarily have to sign paperwork right then and there. Call their references, and maybe Mary Ann can spread a little thought on that, because there are companies around that are doing this, and that's okay. But this particular company was very suspect and had complaints on the internet, so check them out. So Reed, that's my word of caution today on scamming, is just be careful who's at the front door.
Thank you very much, John. They go tearing through a town with a bunch of people every year in Westfield, among others.
Oh, do they?
First thing we do is call the cops, tell them to get over here. These people have some of them are, you say, legitimate. Not really. They're trying to switch you off your regular gas company to their gas company. They tell you they're going to save a bunch. No, you don't save anything.
Well, I didn't want to even get into that part. My concern was that when I did the research on this particular company, that they were doing other things other than trying to get your gas.
They're even worse. They're stealing your ID, right?
Just do your homework on those things.
Yeah, well, my neighbor always calls me and says, have there people been there yet? Let's call the cops.
It is good practice, and I like what both of you said about this, because there are some legitimate companies that can help you save money. Unfortunately, though, if you sign up for this company and then another one comes door to door, there are huge penalties when you unsign yourself or sign up for a second one. So, really, good rule of thumb is take information and don't sign up for anything, on the spur of the moment. Look into it. Especially seniors don't know if they've already signed up with a company. You can certainly come into our office and we can tell you the pros and cons of signing up for, it's almost like a buying group for energy. So some of them can save you money, but I really would hesitate at going to a door-to-door salesman. And we have been, if you know of people going door-to-door, I have called the cities. Usually they have some kind of permit from the town or the city, and we are able then to advocate with the city not to give out those permits to go door to door, because it is so confusing for seniors, and they end up in deep water, sometimes unintentionally, by signing up for some of these programs. Good,
very good. Seniors tend to pick on them in many ways. And it's not because seniors are old and stupid. They're just they have that. They think they are, and so they will go for the seniors. And I have a standard phone answering when I get a phone call. I neither give nor do I purchase anything over the phone, period. That's it, I hang up. I used to play games with them. I'd keep them on the phone as long as I could.
Well, and the other thing you have to be leery of is mail solicitation. I had a senior from the North County call me last week and was very concerned. She got a letter. She thought it was from Social Security, and then it was asking for funding, you know, $50 to $100 donation. While this particular one was not a scam, it was a legitimate company, but it's not Social Security. These are people that are getting money for their not-for-profit, supposedly to advocate on your behalf. There are a lot of legitimate companies that advocate for Social Security and Medicare that you don't need to donate to. So, you know, if you get a letter like this, well, you know, you can let us know in our office. We're happy to let you know more about this organization. But you don't have to send money to Social Security in order to save your Social Security.
And yeah, there's so many people out there taking your dough right and left. And whenever there's a disaster, people jump all over. Incidentally, I want to congratulate the ticket purchaser. First caller came in, got 2 tickets.
Wonderful.
To the Rotary auction, which will be held May 11th, Saturday, and it's fun. It's at Eason Hall. All the beer you can drink. All right, guys. Make sure you have a driver with you.
Well, it sounds like a great event.
It's going to be a great event. It's always a great event, and they have auctions, silent auctions, all kinds of fun stuff.
And Rotary does good stuff in the community.
And they give you a nice dinner too for your $10. I might add. You can't go wrong. I mean, it's just everything, snacks and foods. We're chatting with Marianne Spanos. Dr. Spanos happens to be the director, the head of the Office for the Aging in Chautauqua County, and does quite a job out of her little office in Mayville. Is the office still the same size, or did they shrink it like your budget?
No, it's still there in Mayville, and then we have an office in Jamestown on West 3rd Street, and outreach office in the Senior Center in Dunkirk. So.
Well, no matter what Marianne does, she pinches a penny until it howls in pain. But in the meantime, they keep cutting her back. They cut you back constantly. Every year you're being cut back by the state, the Fed, and the legislature.
It's getting difficult. It really is, especially with sequestration, as you've heard about. And I really encourage all seniors to contact your congressman and let them know. Congressman Reed is very open to listening to you, but we also need to call our senators, Schumer and Gillibrand, and get something going. You know, the thing that disturbs me more is they have not reauthorize the Older Americans Act. That is the one piece of legislation that really talks about older Americans and their value, and we really need to send a message that we need this reauthorized. This sends a message to seniors that they're valued, and so many of them, with all that's going on in Congress, do not feel valued. They feel that everything that is directed toward helping seniors is being cut lately, and they're right.
They're throwing the seniors right under the bus at every level, even in the county level here. Mr. Edwards, who is not running again, I wonder why, was trying to sell a county home for the seniors, the people that are indigent and sick.
Well, I don't want to get into that, Reed, because there's 2 sides to that story, and I think we have to do improvements to things that benefit seniors.
I quite agree.
You know, some of these programs are 40 years old, 50 years old actually.
Well, and, I can remember when the so-called poorhouse, which is where seniors would go, who were sick and who had no money, they were bankrupt, as the ones who use 80% of them use the county home now. And you figure these people, it's been over a century they've had a place for seniors who are indigent and sick. And it seems like the few cents, a few dollars that comes out of the county budget, out of the huge budget we have, the highest, we are the highest tax county in the United States, and the huge amount, they could take a few pennies for the senior citizens who are sick and who need a place to go. And this, to me, is outrageous. It's the ultimate of throwing seniors under the bus.
Well, as I said, you know, I don't want to get into the debate of that, but we're not selling the county home. I mean, we're not closing the county home, but whether the county should be in the business of that or not, there are two sides, and we really need to look at them.
Well, the one of the sides, there's only one side in my book, and that is the fact that 80% of them are on Medicaid, and
well, that's pretty much.
You can't get into normally get into a regular medical center with Medicaid.
Well, most seniors who enter nursing homes within months are all on Medicaid, because most seniors have less than $50,000 in the bank. And that's why we really need to look at, what we're doing in this country. 20 years ago with Medicare and Medicaid, because we don't have services in the community, we are forcing people into nursing homes. And many of the people that are currently in nursing homes can be managed very well. Not those that need 24-hour care, certainly, but many of them can be managed very well in the community. The problem is that Office for the Aging, who is the only one besides Medicaid that has some assistance to help people in the community, continues to be cut. And so, we can provide in the community home care and meals and case management and those little emergency response buttons. And if you were getting 4 hours of that a week, plus 7 meals and some case management, it would cost less than $10,000 a year. That's really the conversation we need to be having, is how can we keep people in the community? It's cost effective, it's where they want to be, but unless you're fully on Medicaid and meet a bunch of criteria, you cannot get those. It's very difficult for you to pay for the cost of that.
Yes, and the worst part about it is, which a lot of people are not aware of, is that usually the so-called community care depends on the daughter or somebody in the family who has to work with them for 24/7.
Right.
You give them some assistance, but this poor person winds up in the hospital herself.
Right, and that's the problem with the system. It almost penalizes people who are trying to help their parent. There isn't enough tax credits for them. There isn't an incentive for them to take care of it. Sometimes it's more difficult to get services. So, but there isn't, if you are on Medicaid, you can get those home and community-based services if you meet certain criteria, but it's almost easier to go into a nursing home than it is to get those things set up in the community. And that's really the crux of the issue.
And part of the crux of the issue, too, as you did point out, is that defunding of seniors. Again, they're just throwing the seniors under the bus these days. No. And for instance, Congress has proposed a $1 billion cut on Medicaid for this next year. Medicaid, half of it is seniors who are indigent. And Medicare, $2 billion cut. Not billion, trillion, excuse me. Trillion. They're going to cut $1 trillion out of Medicare, and they're proposing $2 trillion out of Medicare and $1 trillion out of Medicaid. So there you go. These amounts are colossal. They're horrendous amounts.
They are, the thing is, though, Reed, we need to really get inside these programs. I'm not totally opposed to reducing some of these programs because there is a lot of waste in them. I'm concerned that when they do across-the-board cut, that you don't cut the things that aren't really necessary. You're cutting things that really help people. So, as I said, these programs were developed almost 40 years ago. We really need to get inside them and revamp them so that the things that are really helping people are preserved, and the things that are wasteful, that are making money for the middleman and not really helping the people, that's the ones that we need to really look at. So it's a very complicated issue.
One of the major cuts that they're trying to enact is the cuts to the nursing homes, 10% across the board. And doctors. Now, before long, the doctors have those little signs when you walk in their office. We do not accept Medicare. We do not accept Medicaid, because it's not paying them what the market is. I had a dentist friend of mine who says, yeah, the Medicaid is pay me $5 for an office visit.
Right. Well, there is one word of encouragement. I know
Let's hear some good news. If
There are
any.
a lot of doctors, and you're right. I don't blame them for not taking Medicaid because it's not paying even their cost. But we were very fortunate in this county with the help of the Chautauqua County Health Network to get a grant from the federal government to open a federally qualified health center in Dunkirk. And this is fabulous news for people who have no insurance, who are underinsured, even for seniors. Anyone can go and use this clinic and you will get services. Medical services, mental health services, even some dental services. So I really encourage you to check out the new federally qualified health center. I think it's, the name is escaping me.
JCC Center over there, isn't it?
No, it is in the county office building in the basement right there in the rebuilt building that's on Central Avenue in Dunkirk. And so we have started referring people there, especially there's a lot of people from 55 to 65 who lose their jobs and have no insurance. If you have no insurance, you can go and they will give you care. And that's a fabulous thing. It doesn't matter where you live in this county, you can go there.
Fortunately, it's like the nursing home for the seniors, the 80% in there. You have a place to go anyway when you're sick and
right,
broke.
and that's something we've needed, not only because many doctors don't take that, but we also have a shortage of physicians. We have a shortage of physicians and other healthcare professionals, so it's really needed in this county. And Mike Pease is the executive director there, great guy, and really doing good things to get this working for all of our citizens, not just the seniors.
Also, I will say a hats off to Bob Burke. He takes everything and anything and does a lot of Medicaid, a lot of Medicare. He's almost pro bono in many cases. His office in Mayville is always very busy with people who don't have insurance, a lot of them, or don't have so few people have insurance anymore because the rich and powerful have basically set up a situation where you work for half price and you don't get any benefits. No sick days, no insurance, no nothing.
Well, and I do also commend him. He took over, WCA Hospital used to have a bunch of clinics all over the county, and Dr. Burke's office, together with his partners, have continued many of those clinics in the little, in the little townships, which really is important because we just don't have enough transportation here. So
good, yeah, and they're also cutting back on carts. Speaking of transportation, one of the ways of balancing the budget. Well, I
did want to talk about some kind of milestone news. The Office for the Aging is going to be 40 years old next month.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And it's also Older Americans Month. And, what we want to talk to seniors about is unleashing their power.
You bet.
Unleash the power of aging. Yes, vote, make your voice known, because you are the fastest growing group on the planet, and you are the majority of the voters. And so you do have a very powerful message, and our congressmen, our legislators, they need to hear from you. You're over 23% of the population in this county,
over
and
half
growing.
the voters too, I might add, because more seniors vote than anybody else.
This is true. This is true. So you do have a voice, but they need to hear from you. I was talking recently with Senator or Congressman Reed's office, Senator Gillibrand, and Senator Schumer's office, and they are just soaking up what I have to say. But I'll tell you, it's more powerful when it comes directly from a senior. Okay. You need to let them know how these cuts, these changes in programs are affecting you. You need to let them know that you're having a hard time meeting your bills on Social Security, or that you didn't get as much as you normally get on the HEAP feed program, or now you can't get meals through Meals on Wheels, or you're on a waiting list for home services because you can't afford to pay for them privately. Till they hear from you, it's really hard to make this case that people are out there suffering. So if you want to write a letter and get it to my office, I'm happy to pass it on to them. If you want to contact them directly, I have the phone numbers for you to call directly to their congressman's office in Washington or their local office. Please call us because we're happy to connect you, and I think they need to hear from you.
And you mentioned the Social Security. The Social Security has been, the seniors have been screwed by the Congress and Social Security. They refuse to give you the true cost of living adjustment. And so at this point you're getting 47 cents on the dollar. You got just 10 years ago, and now they have a new way of deciding how there's less inflation that's going to be coming up next year, which will cost seniors, the average senior, $1,000 a year in Social Security.
You really, I was just talking with our national organization, and we do need to be concerned about the new formula. It will cut services for seniors. If they want to base your increase on, it's a different formula.
It's a phony thing. It's a phony thing.
Well, the thing is, it's not going to keep rate with inflation. So you do need to know that, and you need to tell your congressman that this is not a good way to decide how the increases need to happen in Social Security.
Yeah, well, several organizations have pointed out that seniors are doing very poorly in terms of their money, and they're not buying food, nutritious food, a lot of them. AARP, for instance, has a program to feed hungry seniors now, if you can believe it, because of the fact that their Social Security is being cut so badly by inflation, which is not, you wind up eating this stuff, friends. This is cat food, cat food. You'll be eating that in your children's basements because you've lost your house.
We do need to tell seniors that, a lot of the problem too is that the congressmen think that you are taking advantage of programs like SNAP, formerly called food stamps. And you should take advantage of this program. Last I checked, there were 8,000 seniors who looked eligible for food stamps that weren't getting them.
Yeah, you're talking about Chautauqua County.
Just in Chautauqua County. We have 30,000 seniors, and there are almost a third of them who could be getting this benefit.
Okay.
If you are having trouble making ends meet, you need to look into this.
Okay.
Because it can be anywhere from $16 a month, which doesn't seem very much, but you can save it up to a couple $100s a month.
What's your
for
phone number?
food.
You'll help them out.
Put up our New York Connects, and there is a special person, her name is Brooke Barone, who's been working for our office, or with our office. She actually works with a national outreach program for hunger, and she can help you. So we'll connect you with her by calling New York Connect 753-4582. You can call toll free from the Dunkirk area 363-4582, or from Jamestown 661-7582. So we'll tell you what the income guidelines are for that. And remember, food stamps can be used for more than buying groceries. Right now you can also use it to buy vegetable plants, to grow vegetables in your garden. There are many farmers markets that will take food stamps, and you can use it as a donation to your meal program for Meals on Wheels or for a congregate meal site. So if you're getting meals through Meals on Wheels and you feel like you can't donate anything, but you're getting food stamps that you're not using, because we want you to use them, you can use them in lieu of a donation.
There you go. And unfortunately, they don't accept the fact that the most nutritious liquid in the food chain is beer. You cannot get beer. It's often called liquid bread because it's so nutritious. Yeah. We got a phone caller that's been waiting since God knows when. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting so long.
Good morning. You're most welcome. I have a question for your guest, Dr. Spanos. You mentioned that we're the largest growing population on the face of the earth, 23%, I think you said. Is there a comprehensive plan to look at housing for seniors in the next 10, 20 years? With the situation that came up with the county home and people starting to think about, well, where would I go when I get to a certain point in life? Is there sufficient housing, and is there a plan, in place? And I'll hang up and I'll have a listen. Thank you.
Well, thank you, caller. Send me a stamped envelope. I'll send you $5 off a couple of times over at the Lakeview Hotel, which is down at the foot of the hill, Mayville. What a fish they have there. Okay, Marianne, you want to answer that? What are they doing about housing for seniors?
It is a difficult issue. Right now, CRIC is doing a survey, as well as the county has done a comprehensive plan. So I encourage people, if they're looking for housing, many people are telling me they want to, what we call age in place. And that becomes the difficulty, is they want to give up their home and go into a certain type of housing. There is a lot of housing in the Jamestown region, but it's very difficult in these small communities. So I would encourage people to, right now CRIC is doing a survey of housing throughout the county to add their voice to that. Also look up the comprehensive plan, but it's a difficult issue because you've got to find people who are willing to build that housing and then make it affordable. There are a lot of new choices. Lutheran Social Services has built some very interesting housing. We call it enriched housing over off of in Lakewood, or in the border of Lakewood and Jamestown. Heritage Village has many different types of housing. We're really lacking some options in the North County. There's independent housing, and then there's nursing home. But there isn't a lot of this enriched housing, or housing with services, which is really important to keeping people independent in the community.
Thank you. Well, you can buy it.
I don't know that I answered your question totally, but it's something that we really need to tackle.
Well, you have pointed out that there is a plan. I don't know what it is.
There is a plan, and there's also works in progress to really look at what we have and what we need in this county, and that's what's going on with CRIC right now.
I called one of these organizations, said, what do I do for housing? He said, they're selling tents over at Walmart, $19.95. You just pop it up. There's nothing to it. Marianne Spanos, and that is not true.
No. I also encourage any of our builders to really look at MetLife Foundation has some very interesting documents on universal housing, and we really need to encourage builders when they're building new structures to look at a structure that is good for a well family, it's good for a disabled person, and it's good for a senior. And these universal housing principles talk about that, about where, and it doesn't look, it looks much more beautiful when you construct a building to accommodate all those different types of people than it does to try to retrofit some very old housing and make it accessible. That's one of the big challenges we have right now, is there isn't a lot of money to put in ramps for people, to make bathrooms handicap accessible. So we were very lucky to get a donation through the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation by an anonymous donor who wants to help veterans. And we have been able to put in ramps, revamp some bathrooms to make them handicap accessible for veterans. And these are not just veterans who are seniors, but veterans of any age who are trying to stay in their homes. And they need to be able to shower. They need to be able to get in and out easily. And but it's a big challenge because we have very old housing stock.
Yeah, I see over in Fredonia, they took the old school and cut it in half. Half of it was for seniors. They gave seniors a place. Unfortunately, the other half is people who were nutcases.
Oh.
And one of them took off on a senior not too long ago, sadly. But at any rate, I do think we should be more concerned, and I agree with the caller, and thank you, caller, about housing for seniors, because they can't run a house anymore. They need a condo, an apartment, somebody to help out mow the lawn and fix the roof and whatever, and try to cover the difference in Social Security. Again, they plan what amount between $5 and $10 trillion cut with their so-called revamping of the cost of living, which they haven't been paying anyway, so it doesn't matter. Marianne Spanos telling us how it's going at the Office for the Aging. Marianne, I see on TV all the time ads for those little "Help Me, I've Fallen" buttons. You have a deal on that. What's that deal? Tell me.
We do.
They're $30. They're $30 on
No,
TV.
it's less than $30.
No, on TV. They want
on
$30.
TV, it's $30, and it can be more because there's installation fees. We entered into a contract with Doyle Medical Monitoring out of Rochester so that we can offer those little emergency response buttons. The "Help, I've fallen and I can't get up" for $25 a month. That's the private pay rate. Certainly if people need help to pay for that and meet criteria, we can put them on our, we may have funding. Right now there's a waiting list for that, but we may be able to put them on our program if they need help paying for that. But $25 a month is less than you can get anywhere. There's no installation fee. You don't pay for a partial month if you don't need it. And
there's a waiting list, though, right?
No, there's no waiting list if you're
okay.
going to private pay for that. What the waiting list is because I get some government funds to help people pay that cost. If they can't pay $25, then we can help them pay for that with our older American money, which was cut in the sequestration.
Yes, of course, right.
So, but it's still a deal. There are many people who are paying, $40, $50 a month. The only thing I have to caution you is this: if you're traveling back and forth to Florida, I'm sorry, this one does not cover the whole country. This is a local thing.
Huh? Well, what's the difference? You're not going to be traveling very much anyway. And I called in one time and said I need one of these, and they said, well, what's the problem? I said, I'm lying on the floor and I can't get up. They said, well, we'll get one to you within a week or two. That's not true.
We're very quick. And again, you can call our one number.
Go ahead.
That's 753-4582, New York Connects.
Good.
You're looking for a service, and we'll tell you about the other services that are out there too. We're not going to just promote the one that, that we have this deal. We're using the buying power of the county to get you that discount. But we will tell you about all the options that are available for you because we want to be unbiased.
And we have a caller on, and her name is Linda.
Oh, Linda.
Good morning, Linda.
Well, good morning, Reed. Good morning, Marianne. It's great to see you on the show.
Good morning. Nice to see you or hear you.
And I see that you brought the sunshine with you.
Well, I like to think I did, but I don't know about that.
I just wanted to highlight that we have our computer training. We have sites in Chautauqua County, at the Patterson Library in Westfield, at the Dunkirk Library in Dunkirk, and in Jamestown at the Office for the Aging. We have trained over 900 students. Isn't that wonderful?
It's fabulous.
Yes.
Great program.
Yes, it is a wonderful program. And it's just ideal for people who are looking for basic computer experience, who might be a little hesitant, and from that point then they are referred to higher levels of computer training if they're interested. It's free.
That's absolutely free.
It's absolutely free, and we don't want seniors to be left behind in the electronic age. And there's no reason. Computers are not that scary, and we've got these fabulous coaches who will sit right with you and give you some one-on-one guidance. You can go at your own pace, but really, to learn about doing email and just to be able to search things on the internet. I love these little new phones. Anytime I have a question now, I can just put it right in there and I get some information about whatever it is right at my fingertips, and that's what computers can really open up for you. And when you have family far away, I know I told people about Skype. Skype is a computer phone where you can see the person as you're talking to them. When my boys were in Japan with family in Greece, or even across the country, you got grandchildren, you want to see them growing up, and you can do that with these computer phones. So it's really, will help you get there.
Your family in Greece. You are the first and only Greek I've had on this show. Did you know that?
I'm Polish and Italian. My husband's a Greek, but I
always
guess
say that,
I'm
but
Greek by association.
Your Slovakia is celebrated, though.
Yeah, and I do want to tell, before we run out of time, I do want to tell you about a few things that are coming up. You know, we're not going to have a grand celebration for our 40th anniversary. I just don't think it's appropriate with, you know, money so tight. But I have asked the United Senior Council if we could piggyback on an event they're having to celebrate Older Americans Month. They have a trivia contest going on with cash prizes. And I'll tell you, this is senior trivia. I could not answer half these questions because they're all from your era. But there's also some trivia about the county. It's really a great event. It's going to be on May 9th at the North Harmony Senior Center at 1 p.m. And at that time, the Office for the Aging is also going to give out some recognition awards for some communities and seniors that are really stepping up to help other seniors. And we're also going to honor a few volunteers that have made great contributions. Also in honor of Older Americans Act Month, I know that there are a lot of seniors who are concerned about, you know, legal matters. What do you need to know? And so we've asked our legal services, and which is Southern Tier Legal Services, and the Medicare Rights Center to come in and put on a symposium for you. And so we're going to be doing this on May 30th at St. Nicholas Church in Jamestown in the morning, and then in the afternoon it'll be at the Dunkirk Senior Center.
What's the date again?
That's May 30th.
May 30th.
And then, as you all know, because we are trying to really build some funding for senior programs and services, and we've done that through this endowment under Mac McCoy, we are having our annual fundraiser. It's a plant sale. It's going to be at in the lobby outside our offices in Mayville at the Hall Clothier building on May 14th. And I invite you all. The plants are very inexpensive. We're selling perennials. They're $2.50 a piece or $5 for $10. And you get some great plants for your garden. You can't buy a perennial for less than $7 at Walmart. So it's really a good deal, and all the money, all the proceeds go to the Mac McCoy Fund at the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation.
There is a Mac McCoy Fund, which
it's the Mac McCoy Office for the Aging Fund, and none of that money can be used for, you know, just regular county government. It is set up so that it can only be used for the benefit of seniors.
You can't buy beer with it.
No.
No beer.
No, but we hope that, you know, we can grow it so that we'll never have to turn a senior away. That's my goal, is that we should be able to help every senior that walks through our doors.
We're going to need it because the Congress is planning a $1 trillion cut in Medicare, Medicaid, $2 trillion in Medicare, and at least $5 to $10 trillion in Social Security now. God help us, seniors. You know, I want to get involved in that trivia thing, but the only problem is when I'm watching TV, it shows I was present back then, but I can't remember.
Oh, you can remember. And these are teams of 3, so you got 3 people to help you out.
One of us should be able to remember.
You can have 1 or 3, and hey, you could win $100. I don't remember the whole dollar amounts, but one of them is $100. So it's $5 to enter a team, and then they're giving out these cash prizes. And it was a riot last year. We had a wonderful fun, and there's going to be refreshments. So please join us at the North Harmony Seniors.
I'll be down there. Will you be on my team?
I don't know if I can be. I'm not a senior.
Well, you know, you can say you were. I mean, what the heck? What do they give you? Check your birth certificate?
If they let me be on your team, I'll be on your team.
Okay.
I don't know. Some of this trivia was way beyond me because they really picked some from the, you know, when you were growing up trivia, and less of it was current events. So it was really a lot of fun. Though. I learned a lot.
Look like a senior. Of course, the thing is, I go in with all my white hair and my wrinkles and everything, and they want me to show identification to buy a beer at the top supermarket. You've got to provide documentary evidence that you're not under 20. Can you believe that? And they require this. They won't sell me a beer
Yeah,
unless I show them documentation. I usually use my passport or my driver's license that I'm not a 20-year-old. Can you believe this?
I know, it seems really silly, some of the rules we put in
silly.
place.
You think you're in a funny farm. It's sort of a funny farm when they say, well, you've got to show that you're not 20 years old. Somebody who's 80. I had a friend who was 80 who went in there, shuffled in, and they said, well, you've got to prove that you're not 20. You're over 20. Good God help us.
Well, just remember that the Office for the Aging is here to speak on your behalf, to advocate for you, and to guide you as if you're looking for some help and you don't know where to go, you really should call us first. We're not going to send you to 20 different places. We're going to find the answer and get it for you, so call us.
Okay, I like the fact that it's 753-4471.
That's our Mayville number, but you can also call New York Connects. We have an operator on there, Nancy Papalea. And
is that in your office, or is it
yeah,
in
New York
Albany,
Connects, nope, is a local program, and she's our operator. She used to actually work for 211, and so she has a database of services. We're not going to just tell you about our services or just about medical services. We'll tell you about everything that's out there that you might be eligible for. People learn a lot by calling her. They might call for a meal, and she also will tell them about other things that they haven't thought of that might help them.
Okay.
So,
neat
service.
Final thought, I called in one time, and they told me a joke. I said, what? Yeah, they said this guy is in the doctor's office, and he said, you know, doctor, this is my first operation. The doctor said, mine too. That's what I'm kidding.
I know.
Marianne Spanos. Dr. Spanos is doing a fabulous job, considering the fact they're cutting her funding every time she turns around, running the Office for the Aging for Chautauqua County. And that trailer that I saw going down into the park was not your trailer, they tell me. They're not going to put you down in the park in a trailer. You still keep your office.
I'm trying, but thank you so much for having me on, and
well, thank you for
please think about all the events we have coming for Older Americans Month, May. Remember, you have power, so unleash the power of aging in May, and get the word out about what you need, because they need to hear it.
Yeah, I'm politically incorrect. I don't say older Americans. I say senior citizens or old fogies, something like that. That's what. Okay. Anyway, Marianne, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to close up. All your time uninterrupted.
Well, remember, if you're looking for a service, call our New York Connects helpline. They're happy to help you. Remember that on May 9th, there's a trivia event going on to celebrate Older Americans Act Month, hosted by the United Senior Council at the North Harmony Seniors. We're also going to be giving some recognition awards to partners in the community who have helped the Office for the Aging continue their mission despite, the challenges that we're facing. On May 14th, is our plant sale to benefit the Mac McCoy Office for the Aging Memorial Fund. And then May 30th, don't forget, if you want some information on legal issues, powers of attorney, wills, healthcare proxy, come and see us at the St. Nicholas Church in Jamestown, or in the afternoon at the Dunkirk Senior Center, and we'll have some people who can give you the skinny on all of that.
Thank you very much, Marianne Spanos, doing the job for the county and the Office for the Aging, and she's running it on less and less money. Before long, you're going to have to put your own money into it, Marianne, to make it run, Fortunately, you got George helping you a little bit.
He's a good egg.
Somebody mentioned George last week, incidentally.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, trees along the road. The guy says he's afraid the maple trees are going to fall over. And I see he's cutting them down on Route 20.
Route 20 is a state road.
Oh, okay.
He has nothing to do with Route 20.
George is in charge of Public Works here in Chautauqua County. I want to thank certain wonderful people: Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, Chris Ramaker, Jeff Zook, Don Zenz, John Hamels, and all the people that called in. Sorry, the last caller will get you next time. You'll come back, won't you?
Definitely.
Okay, great. And I want to say thank you very much for being there. Pick your daffodils and make sure you put them right in the water immediately. Don't let them sit around in your car. Bring a bucket of water and just toss them in it, and then they'll be nice and fresh when you bring them up. Meantime, may all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers.